Okay, so he's a global icon, a brand, a true phenomenon. But how does someone become one of the greatest football players of all time? Well, we're about to find out as we break down the incredible career of Cristiano Ronaldo. Let's just start with a number that's, well, it's almost hard to wrap your head around. Over 960 official senior career goals. Now, that doesn't just make him a great scorer. It makes him the top goal scorer in the entire history of the sport. Just think about that. Every goal he scores now is just him breaking his own world record. And then you've got this number, 5. That's how many times he's been officially crowned the best player on the whole planet with the Ballon d'Or award. It's just proof of his sheer dominance over an incredible period of time. So, it all begs the question, right? How did a kid from the small island of Madeira grow up to become one of the most famous athletes on Earth? That's the real story we're going to dig into here, tracking his evolution from pretty humble beginnings to absolute global superstardom. His journey really began in Funchal on the Portuguese island of Madeira. And believe me, there was no silver spoon here. He grew up in an impoverished home, sharing a single room with his 3 older siblings. And, just as his talent was really starting to shine, disaster almost struck. He was diagnosed with a racing heart condition at age 15 that could have ended everything right then and there. But in a sign of the incredible determination that would basically define his entire career, he had laser heart surgery, was out of the hospital hours later, and was back on the training pitch just a few days after that. Unbelievable. That same determination earned him a life-changing move to England in 2003. The legendary Manchester United manager, Sir Alex Ferguson, saw something truly special in this teenager and signed him for what was at the time a record-breaking fee for a player his age, over £12 million. Now, the pressure of wearing that iconic number 7 shirt was just immense, but the praise, it came from the highest possible source. That quote isn't from some pundit, it's from George Best himself, maybe the greatest player in the club's history. Even the legends could see his game-changing potential right from the very start. His time at United was a genuine transformation. I mean, he showed up as this raw, flashy winger full of tricks and step-overs, what some critics would call a show pony. But under the guidance of Alex Ferguson, who Ronaldo later called his father in sport, he morphed into a ruthless, efficient winner. And that all led to team glory and his very first award as the world's best player. And then, in 2009, came the move that would take him from superstar to absolute legend. Real Madrid paid a world record £80 million for him. Get this, over 80,000 fans packed into the stadium just to see his presentation. It was here in Madrid that he entered the absolute prime of his career. And this is where you can really see that shift into his prime. Just look at these numbers. At Manchester United, his league goal ratio was a very, very good 0.43 goals per game. But at Real Madrid, that number more than doubled to over a goal a game. He literally transformed from a great attacker into the most lethal goal scorer on the entire planet. And all that individual brilliance, it translated into insane team success. At Madrid, he became the club's all-time leading scorer, he led an era of European dominance with 4 Champions League trophies, and he won 4 more Ballon d'Ors. This was his empire. But here's the thing. After 9 years of conquering Spain and Europe, his ambition still wasn't satisfied. He started looking for new challenges in new countries, totally determined to prove his adaptability and his longevity as he moved into the final phase of his top-level European career. So first, he moves to Italy and wins the league twice with Juventus. Then he makes a dramatic return to England and breaks the 800-goal barrier. After that, a move to Saudi Arabia, where he sets a new league scoring record. In doing all that, he became the first and only player in history to be the top scorer in 4 different leagues. It just proves his relentless drive to win absolutely everywhere he went. But to really, truly understand Ronaldo, you have to look beyond what he did on the pitch. His impact is just immense, and it was really defined by a historic, career-long rivalry and a level of global fame that is almost unheard of in sports. For more than a decade, the biggest question in football was Ronaldo or Messi. They were the perfect opposites. You had Ronaldo, the powerful, athletic machine with an explosive style, versus Messi, the smaller, weaving dribbler with impossible close control. Their different styles and personalities just fueled the debate and pushed both of them to unimaginable new heights. And this chart just visualizes their dominance perfectly for 10 straight years. From 2008 to 2017, the award for the world's best player went to either Ronaldo or Messi. At the end of that incredible decade, they were tied, 5 awards each. It was the most dominant rivalry the sport has ever seen, period. That rivalry and his global brand have all led to this staggering number. In 2021, he became the first person ever to pass 500 million social media followers. Well, that number has now climbed past 1 billion, which by that metric makes him the most famous person on the planet. So, after a career of just relentless achievement, we're talking more than 2 decades, multiple countries, every trophy you can imagine, what's the ultimate takeaway here? What really is his legacy? Well, ultimately, his legacy is written right there in the history books. They are just filled with his name. Most goals for his country, most goals in the Champions League, most appearances for an outfield player. I mean, the list just goes on and on. It's a level of sustained excellence and longevity that you rarely, if ever, see in any sport. And all of that leads us to the CR7 phenomenon. Because his legacy isn't just about the goals. It's about creating this global brand that was built on an unparalleled dedication to physical fitness. We're talking strict diets, ice baths, legendary gym sessions, a ferocious work ethic, and just this unshakable self-belief that turned all that raw talent into historic greatness. Which really leaves us with a final question. After all the games, all the goals, the records, and the trophies, what is his ultimate legacy? Is it the actual silverware? That endless list of records? Or is it the sheer inspiration of a player who willed himself through pure dedication to become one of the greatest of all time? That is a question for the ages.